Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Guiding Keys podcast. You may notice that I am not Latrix, who usually does the intro, because he's not here today. In fact, all of the other hosts are not here today. So it's me, and we have a bunch of special guests today. We have DJ PRS, one of our server moderators, Supersonic Jedi. Yeah, Supersonic Jedi, who is one of the Keyblade Forge members. And a very special guest today is the one and only roromaniac.
Hello. I'm not actually a KH content creator like the other two. I don't know what made me so special.
Something about fun.
Yeah. So today we have a bunch of people that are not usually on the podcast as guests because we are talking about a Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer tournament that just finished last week as of the recording of this, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Which was hosted by roromaniac, and me, DJ, and Jedi all participated in it. So Roro, you want to tell us a little bit about the tournament?
Oh, I don't even know where to begin. It was such a wonderful event. It's the third iteration.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah,
we'll touch on all of the clear salt in the wounds that I may have spread to my participants in Fresh Faces.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the third iteration of a tournament that celebrates all of the newcomers into the KH2 Rando community, whether it's someone who's played the KH2 Rando casually but never played in a tournament, or someone who's never really tried the KH2 Rando at all. We try to basically accumulate as many of these people as possible and pit them against each other in some friendly competition of KH2 Rando on beginner difficulty with No The World That Never Was. Nothing too challenging. I think the most challenging part is final fights of the KH2 Randomizer, and it is we just wrapped up the third iteration of doing so. The first one being in early 2023, the second one being in early the first one was in August 2023, the second one was early 2024, and then we had a 19 month. Can you imagine if Fresh Faces 3 was 19 minutes after Fresh Faces 2 concluded?
That would be
19 months. 19 months after Fresh Faces 2, we were finally able to have the resources to run Fresh Faces 3, which just wrapped up a week ago.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about it is it's a charity tourney for Project Hope for Ukrainian refugee relief, which is also it just makes it even cooler because you're playing a cool mod for a cool game and you're raising money for charity. So
For a cool
and we also matched donations for every person that participated in Fresh Faces 1. We did $10 per player up to 40. Fresh Faces 2, I think I did $15 up to 100. And then this year, I think I did $5 up to 200 participants. So I think I've gone broke running this series, basically.
Fair enough.
The math, newbie mathing, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I need to look back at the battle report that I made to see what the total amount raised was throughout all 3 years.
It was just over 22,000. Yeah,
that's
around
crazy, but awesome.
Wow.
No, it's been a great honor to see all the people come in and donate. I think I've contributed a decent amount to it myself, but no way in hell I would have been able to contribute 22K on my own. So it's been a wonderful time getting other people involved with the cause.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is absolutely beautiful.
So before we get into the specifics of what happened with the tourney, I do want to say, just in case anybody maybe listening that's not as familiar with KH2 Rando, just kind of what it is, how it works, basically. So you take Kingdom Hearts 2, and with the randomizer, instead of having the world map, you just have the Garden of Assemblage, where you usually fight the data organization. Instead goes to the different worlds of the game, so you don't have to worry about the gummy ship or world map or anything. And you can go to any world at any time, depending on your settings. There's a lot of different ways to play Rando, but for Fresh Faces specifically, you have to find the 3 proofs, which are the kind of post-game items of the game that give Sora the little crowns, as well as the Promise Charm, which is an unused item in the game. You find all 4 of those, and then you can go fight Final Xemnas and beat the game. So that's just kind of the basics of Rando. There's a lot more to it, but yeah. Any comments from y'all?
You covered your bases pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed pushing the mouse. You missed core skip. No, you're good. You're good. Sean,
Well,
you
core skip wasn't
skipped.
even on in yeah, none of those skips were on for
Yeah,
first.
No, they weren't. No,
You
they weren't.
deliberately omitted them.
Except for the mouse, because you can always push the mouse.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very, very fun mod. I highly recommend it to anyone who has played Kingdom Hearts 2 and wants to play it in a little bit of a different way. It's really fun. That's kind of an understatement even. It's one of the most fun mods I've ever played in a game, so yeah.
Just don't get too addicted.
Hell, if you're craving anything Kingdom Hearts related right now, especially with the ongoing drought as of late, I definitely recommend getting yourself hooked onto the KH2 Randomizer, because it's like easily replayable. You can play a bunch of runs, like however many times you feel like, until you get tired. Like, it's basically like, because I know people play roguelikes all the time to fulfill that sort of replayability crave, but for us Kingdom Hearts fans, this is basically the closest thing we have to that, and it's a good time.
I actually have to agree with that, because I can catch myself being like, I'll be the type of like, man, I don't really want to play anything new, and I have a buddy, and he'd be like, I'm like, hey, make a quick seed for me, and then 4 hours later, I'm like, oh, well, I fucking hate this game again. Can't wait to play tomorrow. And then it's just back to the basics.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah. So, now as for the Fresh Faces tournament, I guess Roro, do you want to go over how, like, the kind of the format of it and how the different what the different rounds were for the tournament? I guess is a better way to phrase it. I'm stumbling over my words a little bit.
I kind of want to chime in that I think the reason the KH2 Rando is so enjoyable is that you could technically replay KH2 in its proper form over and over again and still probably get something out of it. But when you play the KH2 Rando, the order in which you get your checks basically makes it a new puzzle to solve every time. It is the closest, I think, since the release of KH2 that I felt like I get to play KH2 for the first time over and over and over again. Especially with just how customizable the generator has become. These two basically hit the nail on the head. It is truly like a brand new experience that it can tilt you off the face of the planet, which I suspect we'll get to down the road here.
I have words.
Yeah, we'll save that for down the line. But Fresh Faces 3, basically the mission statement, aside from the charitable aspect, which you covered perfectly, was just to get as many people to try out the KH2 Rando that might not have had before. I think we accumulated 155 or 156 new people to do it, so you can imagine that organizing qualifiers for that many people was a challenge. And what we decided to do is that with 156 people, we needed to basically divvy up the qualifiers in a way where not everyone. Imagine a 156 person race time race. For those that don't know what race time is, it's basically the software that we use that records times and finish times for entrance of any given race. And doing that for one single race with 156 people and trying to ensure that all of them are set up appropriately is very challenging, because on the one hand, while we do take like the competitive aspect of Fresh Faces 3 seriously, the main goal is actually ensuring that everyone has a good time and is set up correctly. A couple of people did fall through the cracks, but when you have volume at that scale, a couple of cases are going to happen like that. So this year we decided to do 8 distinct qualifiers. 4 of them were live qualifiers, which basically meant you show up to a qualifier, you join the race, and you do your best. And I think actually both of your, actually all 3 of you were actually participants of our new format, which was called the async qualifiers. Now, asyncs were allowed in the KH2 Rando in the past, but I think for the first time we actually had separate qualifiers for our asynchronous runners. What that means is that we really tried to be accommodating to people who might be busy during when Fresh Faces 3 was happening. And we allowed people to basically play the seeds on their own time. It was a very trust-based system where we allowed people to say, hey, if you're participating in Fresh Faces 3, there's kind of like an honor code. Like, you're not going to tell anyone about the seed. You're not going to tell anyone what seed you got. We also didn't tell you which seed you got until the very last moment. So you played a seed and you didn't know which one you got until we announced when the async qualifiers were happening. But you got to play the seeds on your time. So you could have asked for a seed at 3 in the morning, and the Discord bot responsible for handling it would accommodate it, and that allowed for somewhere in the vicinity, I want to say, of 35 or 36 people to actually play, not during the live qualifiers, but during the async period. And I think all 3 of you actually at least submitted one async. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes, I
All
did
three of
both.
all 3 of us were in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dallin in particular submitting one real submission and one fake one where he forgot to start the timer correctly. So.
Oh yeah, that's well, yeah. Yeah, so with Kingdom Hearts 2 Rando, since it's on PC, we set up the timer to basically cut out the load times automatically, because everyone's going to have different specs. So just to make it fair and just count the time that is actually being played, the load times are cut out. However, when I did my first qualifier, my loadless timer did not work, so I just had to use the real time. So, that was unfortunate.
Starting to watch back.
Mine stressed me out so much because I'm so used to doing boss and enemy rando that I'm constantly safe stating just for crashes, that at one point I saved and I thought the timer stopped, and so as I'm running I'm like, wait, the timer is closer than it was before, and I am freaking out every time. But that's because I was just I was skipping the scenes as fast as possible, so I was just throwing myself off, and I was like, I broke the timer. And Ro was like, no,
well, fun fact, by the way, just for anyone listening, you no longer need to save state during boss enemy rando. The autosave mod will do that for you. Thanks to the lovely Equations 19.
Autosave.
In fact, you actually were required to use that to set that up for KH2 Rando.
ooh.
Yeah,
That was.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know if
sick.
maybe you managed not to install it, but it is something that's basically soft required when you set up the KH2 Rando to have the soft.
Yeah, they always
I'm
put
checking
those.
my
So like,
open
you should
page
have
right
this
now.
mod. Yeah.
I'm checking it right now. No, it is 3.0.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the qualifiers were definitely an interesting experience for me because I did both of mine as asyncs. So I just did both of my runs because every runner in Fresh Faces was allowed to do 2 qualifiers.
Correct.
And I just did both of them, and then I had to wait a week or 2 or however long it was, and I didn't know how anybody else who ran those seeds did, period, until we watched them restreamed. So I was very nervous for like a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, for a week, everyone just ran the seed, didn't know what seed they ran or how they did. It was very tough to gauge. Sorry for the suspense, I guess.
No, you're good. I liked it in some ways, and then the waiting was what made me nervous because I liked it because there's not the in moment pressure of being in a race time room and being able to see when everybody else finishes. Which, because like I even we'll probably talk about this a little bit later in my top 16 match. I was getting into final fights, and then I saw that my opponent finished, and I was like, "Damn, that sucks."
Yeah.
But so I mean, it's a very interesting, fun way of doing it, and adds more like accessibility, and I don't know, it was cool. I liked it.
The qualifiers is by far like my favorite aspect of Fresh Faces. It makes it really hard to, not really hard, it's still so much fun to restream the rest, but the qualifiers, there's something really beautiful about seeing that many people all come together and plays this thing that you've invested a lot of your time and dedication to. So it's really hard to top the atmosphere of the qualifiers, where it's truly it's so nascent, right? It's so anybody can win. You get to really process a huge variety of interpretations of all of the playthroughs of the same seed. In 1v1s, you only get 2 perspectives, which is still plenty exciting sometimes, right? But when you have like 50 different perspectives, both chaos and beauty ensues, though.
Yeah.
So, like for me, so I'm in competitive esports, you know, and so I'm used to like going to tournaments, being on the big stage, having my gameplay streamed or whatever. But for some reason, for this one specifically, like just being in my own room recording, and I'm just like, I play Rando like almost every day. This shouldn't be an issue. And now I'm second guessing where I'm going. I'm second guessing my turns. And I know we're probably gonna discuss our routes and in a bit. But like when I do, because I started crit right away, and so I'm like, okay, go to Pride Lands, get the quick level up. And when I went to Pride Lands, I was like, okay, no, I need to start drifting at this exact paw movement. And like I'm talking to myself. I don't know if you actually like got to like watch most of them like on your own time, but if you saw mine, I'm literally going, why the fuck am I worrying about drifting? Just go. Like I'm actually yelling at myself to just go. I'm like, it doesn't matter as long as I get the checks.
Yeah. And just comment on mine. I know probably we were gonna talk about this later, but my experience with the qualifiers was good. Up until the live qualifier, where I just got severe depression because my game kept crashing.
Oh yeah, I remember this now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
unfortunate.
I was like, oh,
it is,
yeah.
it is my fault. I just want to say, it is my fault because I did not listen to my friend DJ, and so Dallin helped me make a mod similar to his base Sora everywhere mod, where instead of replacing Sora everywhere, it was replacing Donald and Goofy everywhere, because I had a cosmetic mod that would replace Donald and Goofy with a couple of different characters that I had. And I wanted to have that everywhere. So I thought, hey, I want to do the same thing as base Sora everywhere, but with Donald and Goofy, so that I can have those new cosmetics put on. Sure. The problem is that for some reason, the skeletons for Donald and Goofy's models in Timeless River are vastly different.
Yep.
So you can imagine my shock and confusion when a certain something was behind a certain door and I couldn't get through that door because my game kept crashing every time I tried to go into Timeless River.
Yeah.
Meaning that what could have been an amazing seed for me basically disqualified me from moving forward past the qualifiers.
Yeah,
hey, on the bright side, if we do Fresh Faces 4, you get the auto invite.
No, just to reiterate something, right? Because the both of us practiced together before our asyncs and all that, right? And as I'm like, hey buddy, are you ready to start? He goes, hold on, I'm adding new mods. And I kept saying, if the game works, just play. And he's like, no, but, and I think I probably said it like 10 times, and then I finally had enough time to watch him go live, and then all I see is, oh, what the, why is this not working? Oh, the game crashed, and I just closed the tab. I was like, nope, not dealing with this. It was like a dad going to see their kid like up at bat, and then it's a fucking strikeout.
You don't have to do him like that.
I do take some accountability for that because I did not test the mods like super extensively because I had no idea that they had different skeletons in Timeless Server. I thought it was just gonna work fine, but it did not. So just an unfortunate situation. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. But I mean, I think I imagine you still had fun doing what you were able to do, right, Jedi?
I mean, yeah, I didn't really get a great time from the async that I did, but at least I was able to do one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the Forge got to represent ourselves 4 fresh faces. And then Dallin beat all of us.
3, but then there was only 2.
And then there was Dallin.
Well, I guess does anyone else have any comments for qualifier? Any additional comments for the qualifiers?
I called my mom.
Man. I do remember seeing that. I was like, oh wow. So, like the family is watching someone. Like it's actually been very cool to see like that just in general families get involved in KH2 Rando. That was also so cool. Like Taser 2 brought in his dad. Little Des brought in both his wife and brother-in-law to participate. Lots of family members. I think Bab wanted to get his brother involved. I'm sure there's also some siblings. There's significant others were also involved. Orox brought in Laura. Their husband and wife. I don't know why that distinction, but like we have a bunch of like basically a bunch of partners coming in too. It was very cool to see a bunch of family members supporting the runners. It was great.
Yeah.
Next time I'm calling you Roro.
You're calling me?
Yep. I'm like, hey, Roro, I made
look
it.
at me.
Like,
I'm on the stream. It's like, yeah, who do you think put you up there?
I said, hey, Mom, I made it. Ooh, go Roro.
All right. Well, to move on to the next round, which was dubbed the chopping block, because when you have 156 people and you're trying to get down to a top 32 bracket, it might take a little bit more than just the qualifiers to do that. So chopping block is kind of just like a qualifier round 2, basically. And there are some horror stories from this one.
Yes, there is.
Just to kind of like introduce the viewer to why the chopping block was necessary. We really wanted to give more people an opportunity to actually make a deep push for the bracket. So going straight from 156 to 32 felt like you're removing 100 people in one round. That number is insane, right? Like KH2 Rando had never really had an event that grew to that size before, so just completely omitting 100 people, it's rough. We still managed to remove close to that number. I think we had 65 invited to the chopping block, 63 played, so it's still very close to dropping about 100 people. But it gave those 63 people that really like did perform at top levels a chance to go for the top 32. The way we ended up doing it is we basically calculated scores in 2 different ways. We kind of advertised top 25% get an invitation to play in the chopping block. And we allowed that to be interpreted in one of 2 ways, where it's just if you finished in the top 25% of participants in a race, you automatically moved on, right? Like if there were 100 people and you were in the top 25, you moved on no matter what. If you were like 26th or 27th, you still had a chance to go in because we also calculated what would have happened if we didn't allow someone to play a second qualifier. Something unique this year is that we allowed everybody to play 2 qualifiers just to get some more screen time. But that also means that technically if they had known they qualified the first time, they might not have played the second. So we also said, okay, what if we remove all of the previously qualified runners from the qualifier? Would you have then gotten in the top 25%? And if the answer was yes, then you also advanced. So we were pretty generous with who was allowed to go into the chopping block. And the chopping block it was, because it really did feel like there was a pretty distinct line in the sand. For those unaware of what the chopping block was, In Fresh Faces 3, as we discussed, the proofs and the Promise Charm are randomized throughout the worlds, but we also introduced the concept of visit locking. What that means is if you can picture a world in Kingdom Hearts 2, there's usually multiple visits associated with it. Disney Castle being one of them, right? I guess technically that is a single visit, but we divide the visits from Disney Castle proper being the first visit and Timeless River being the second. In order to access the second visit, you actually needed to find what was called the Disney Castle key, which unlocks the second visit to Disney Castle. And that Disney Castle key was, I want to say it was pretty early on, like Hollow Bastion. It was easily accessible.
Or no, it was
one
in,
of the proofs.
It was in Pride Lands, I believe.
Oh, it was in the Pride Lands shotgun.
It was early in
right,
Pride Lands, yeah.
Yep, Pride Lands shotgun.
Right. So the final 3 proofs were just immediately accessible. When we say shotguns, by the way, we mean chests that are easily accessible when you enter a world. So if you see anyone play KH2 Rando and the first thing they do is like collect chests that are like, front and center, like frame 1 in the seed, those are the shotgun checks that we're talking about here. The order that you go through the worlds to do the shotguns was also something that varied among players. What was really interesting about this hint system is the hint system spoiled entire worlds for you if you finished the first visit of any world. So pushing the mouse, or the proverbial mini escort mission in Disney Castle, is the end of the first visit and would give you the first hint. So a lot of people ended up pushing the mouse very early and getting some early information. One of the proofs, or 3 of the proofs were in shotguns, meaning that almost everyone had those 3 proofs immediately. The 4th proof, I'm going to consider Promise Charm a proof here for all intents and purposes here. The 4th proof was in Timeless River, which meant that some people would push the mouse and not have the unlock yet, while others will have done the shotgun in Pride Lands, got the Disney Castle key, and easily had access to Timeless River. And if you're already at the door, there's 7 chests easily available for you in Timeless River that you may as well just check it out once you've pushed the mouse, right? And roughly nearly down the middle of the seed, with a few exceptions, anyone who went to Pride Lands first to get the Disney Castle key qualified for top 32, and anyone who did Disney Castle first and then Pride Lands didn't really have a great reason to come back to Disney Castle right away. Like, you had other shotguns that you could still keep doing.
Which was me.
And as a result, we definitely had like a block of finish times around like the early 30s, and then another block of finish times in like the 50 minutes to 1 hour 10 mark. And that line in the sand was drawn by those who got the Disney Castle key first before pushing the mouse. It was really I don't know what the right adjective is to use there, but it's very RNG heavy, for lack of better words, because it was very much like, okay, the order in which you do your shotguns, which is itself something that people might just do on a whim, right, or change up on a whim, determined who qualified and who didn't. It was definitely exciting. It was very exciting to see those that pushed correctly, like, actually execute final fights. Like, 'cause, truth be told, like, the people who did get all 4 proofs like really, really early. It's really scary to go into final fights when that timer is so low.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was single was it Reflectless or was it single reflect? I'm trying to remember now.
Baby Reflect.
It was just,
some
I think it
people
was
had
just one
reflect,
reflect.
so I'm pretty sure it had.
Yeah,
but
at least in my end,
like,
I think it was just one, and very low defense too, which had me struggling a lot because I died to Final Xemnas a lot.
I mean, forget like what you actually had. Like when you're that quick into a seed, like, and you're done with all of the required content in 30 minutes, you're just generally going to be down the tools that you normally have when the seeds take an hour, right? Like, just so many things that you'd take for granted by that point, you probably don't have. So it was really cool to see those that actually finished the proof collection quickly actually execute in final fights. It was really fun, but simultaneously, it was a little heartbreaking to see people who clearly put in a lot of practice and like cleared a lot of content just kind of get randoed by the fact that you just didn't have the Disney Castle key at like a really timely fashion, because you really want to be pushing those first visits for the reports because they give a lot of information. So if you don't naturally have a way to quickly check Timeless River, aka you'd have to go back to a second visit where you're guaranteed not going to get any more information, it's a tough sell. So the chopping block definitely,
Yeah.
I think, left a sour taste in some people's mouths
Yeah.
because it is just truly like a get randoed moment, but it's also
Yeah.
part of the mission statement of the series, right? The idea that we went from the get-go is that when we send out a personalized invitation to all 155 or 156 of you, it's with the knowledge that anybody can win. Right, and so that means that sometimes people are just going to get randoed, and like the quote-unquote more skilled player might get unlucky and lose.
Yeah, that's what in the community we call rando be rando. It's
Rando be
just
rando.
how it is. It's just sometimes it's just gonna kind of go against you, and that's how it is. Which, speaking of like of the shotgun routing and changing it up on the fly, that was my story for chopping block. So I think editor can probably put a screenshot on screen of like the order of the worlds in the Garden of Assemblage. Typically, so one of the more popular starting places is Pride Lands, and right next to that on the left is Agrabah, which is another popular starting spot because of things called death abuses, because there are some fights in Kingdom Hearts 2 that you don't actually need to win. You can die and then it will progress the story. And when you're on level 1, dying to those fights is faster. And that's a pretty common starting strategy for a lot of people, including me. So I did that, and what I do typically in that scenario is I then go counterclockwise around the Garden of Assemblage, whereas Pride Lands is clockwise. So going around that way, Pride Lands would have been the last place I visited, which is where that Disney Castle key was. But after, I don't remember if it was after Halloween Town or after Olympus, I just on a whim decided I should go do Pride Lands like right now. So I went and did it, and then I went clockwise, which I think Disney Castle is not long after Pride Lands, going clockwise from there. And that got me my last proof, and I started panicking.
I probably would have too.
Yeah.
As someone who, I want to point out that like if Fresh Faces are watching, I'm pretty confident that if I were playing that chopping block, I don't think I would have qualified, because I am someone who advocates for pushing the mouse immediately, because I want information as quickly as possible. My motto during Fresh Faces 3, other than please donate, was I'm a whore for reports. I was pushing information as quickly as I could get it, and Disney Castle would have instantly been one of the 2 places that I would have gone to. So I don't think that I would have qualified in that seed.
And again, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no! If you're still talking about your routing, then I'll talk about my misfortune.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's what we were kind of talking about. How it's kind of the beauty of Rando. It's very different every time. So you're gonna have a different experience every time you play.
So it was not Rando be Rando for me. My basic route is Pride Lands, Halloween Town, then Agrabah. Mostly because as a critical player, I get my main get my main levels, and I go all the way up until Simba check, and then I leave because I don't like fighting Scar right away. I had the Timeless River check. I got all of that, still left, and did my normal routing. So by the time I saw people already finishing within the 30 to 45 minute mark, I started panicking, because I'm like, how are people doing this so fast? Not knowing that I already could have went through Timeless River to get my Promise Charm. So, and that's because I'm never confident in fighting Scar. That's one of the main issues that I have.
But you didn't need to fight Scar in that seed, right? Like Disney Castle, he was like in the shotgun.
Yeah, no, I think he's just referring to like the kind of metagaming of the race time, like being like, oh, what did they do that got them through so quick, basically.
And getting the check. I mean, I'm getting the hint, because I play ABM, so I don't use hints. So this is the first time ever using hints in general. So the hints psyched me out from the get-go during my async, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to pay attention to these hints until I need them, and I'm going to keep just doing my rando like I usually do. And that was my downfall. Because it's like, if
I was going to say, ignoring a hint system that was carefully crafted to be played with might not lead to fortune.
So, like I said, I can master Pride Lands right away, all the way up until Simba check. I always go Agrabah third. Like I have a system that usually doesn't fail me, and it failed me this time. And as I started seeing people finishing, I started to get more and more discouraged. All the way up until I finally finished mine, and before you guys checked async, I was 42nd. And I was like, God damn it. And like, as I'm watching, because at that point I finished, I'm watching other people's stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, it was there the whole time. And like, I crashed out. Because I'm like, what do you mean people are finishing within 30 minutes? How is that even possible? And then I look back and I'm like, no, I can see it now. I can be one of them. Yep. Fuck. Okay, there we go. So, so it wasn't Rando be Rando. It was just the fact that I didn't go with my gut, and I could have just, I had it. I could have finished the world, and I could have kept going smoothly. Because I was so happy finishing with Baby Reflect and doing all of that when I got the praise from Roro, and I forgot who else was commentating during the last one when they were looking at the async, and I was like, yeah, and I got don't skip, and I still didn't qualify, and I was like, oh my God.
I mean, listen, getting through all of that content with Baby Reflect is an accomplishment regardless of your finish time. I will say that one thing that I remember this like post-attorney discussions, like, hey, can I like talk to someone about how these finish times were so damn fast? And the short answer is I didn't even know how to respond to that, because how do you actually tell somebody, because like imagine like start of Fresh Faces, right? The first qualifier hasn't happened. I tell you, people can finish the seed in 25 minutes. Who the fuck would join that qualifier, right?
Exactly.
Like, you hear that, you're like, this is impossible. This is an insurmountable hurdle for me to overcome. Why bother, right? But like then you actually see it unfold, and it's like, okay, I guess I kind of get it, but like on the surface, like on the optics of it, I can completely understand why someone would say like, I've been cheated of people telling me this was like a beginner's experience, when in reality, I think it's just the beginners played like a few of the settings, got acclimated, and also, I cannot stress this enough, got lucky.
I want to give a huge shout out to Warehouse Jesus, because I'm the one that crashed out on him about it. Because I'm like, you said this is for beginners and people are finishing in 30 minutes. Who the fuck is doing it? He's like, it's Rando, bro. It trust me, I didn't finish it. I was like, no. Like, I was so like gaslighting myself that this was impossible, to the point where I was like, oh no, it actually is possible. Wait, how the fuck are people doing this?
You should have gone to Dallin.
Oh no, Dallin got a little bit too. I was like, what do you mean? How? And he's like, well, this is what I was like,
I was so scared though, because like I finished in 42 minutes, and like 10 to 15 minutes of that was just Final Zemnis because I kept dying. So I was sitting here watching, because I asynced the chopping block as well, because I couldn't guarantee I could make it do it on time, or live rather. So I was just sitting there kind of, I think I was working that day, and I was like kind of keeping up with the Discord when I wasn't doing anything, and I'm like, did I qualify? I don't know, I'm scared. Or did I get top 32?
I want to quickly add an important detail, because you did mention asyncs, and I made a whole spiel about how we kind of had separate seeds for asyncs during the qualifiers. So during the qualifiers, when we had asyncs, we did create separate qualifiers for them. The reason being is that if the seed goes really fast and you have information that someone finished, it would be kind of silly that like people racing that seed live get that information, but someone who wasn't able to attend live didn't. So during the qualifiers, we actually had separate seeds for those that were playing asynchronously. Basically, async people played with async people, live people played with live people. For chopping block, we didn't have that luxury because we have one seed that everyone needs to play, right? We could have potentially tried to do 2 seeds, but that felt like a lot more work than it was worth. So we basically said 1 seed, if you can't make it live, we will let you async it, but you will be asyncing the same seed as everyone else. So Dallin can maybe speak to this, because I have not had this happen to me at the scale of Fresh Faces 3. But basically Dallin like knew the outcome of like he had his time, but had no frame of reference of how quickly everyone else was finishing. So like when the first person finished, right, the entire race time gets that information. So like there's, I don't know, 50 people in the qualifier, right? When the first person finishes, the other 49 people are aware of this information now and can kind of use that to know, okay, last proof isn't going to be on Grim Reaper 2, right? We're not going to need to make these deep, insane pushes if someone finishes that quickly, right? So we did have asyncs for the chopping block, but this is different from the qualifiers, where now everyone, regardless of when they played the qualifier, was playing the same seed.
Yeah. Which, yeah, that, like I said, it just made me so scared, because if it was like not like a really fast seed like this one, if it was like a more average length seed, I wouldn't have been as stressed. But knowing that it was like, oh, these proofs are so early, and the last one is kind of technically a little bit later, but it depends on if you went and got the thing in Pride Lands first. So I'm just like, how many people would have done that, and how many people would have not? And I was so terrified to figure that out.
Well, I think you managed to make it.
I did, yeah. I think let me look at the list. I think it was 24th of the top 32, or of everyone that played. So I got in the top 32.
I can pull up the Press Races 3 bracket real quick, because I actually it's already starting to evade me.
I know there were just so many people. Like,
way to rub it in, Dallin.
Okay.
Yeah, you did get 24th.
Yeah.
The top 32 was also just so exciting. There's not as much like that I can really speak to on the 1v1s. Those are they're a lot more intimate though. Those once we had our top 32, we basically ranked everyone's load this time, and we checked our list, like did everything that we possibly could to ensure that there weren't any mistakes. We had our top 32 finish times, and they also dictated the way that we seeded everybody. So if you were the first place finisher, you got the seed number 1, and the last person to squeak in with seed number 32, or like in 32nd place, got the seed number 32. The 1v1s, I mean, those were so... I have so much less to say about them, despite them being a lot more like intimate. Like, you actually get to like zone in and like focus on how a single person is actually processing the seed, right? Because the qualifiers and even the chopping block, which is just qualifier plus, if you will, right?
Yeah.
The main focus, at least from like a restreamer's perspective, maybe the viewer perspective is different, but it's not really about who is doing what. It's just who is playing in it, where are they at. It's, for lack of better words, it's a little surface level. You don't really get to like dissect how a person is actually processing the bombardment of information that you get in a run. It's still, I think the chopping block, despite being like this admittedly slightly higher caliber competitive level, right? Because you do get a lot of people in the qualifiers that just don't give a shit about the... Am I allowed to swear? Sorry, I don't know if I'm...
You're fine.
Okay. They don't give a shit about the like competitive aspect, right? Yeah, I know. My viewers just being like, huh? Didn't know he had it in him, but...
I didn't know he had that dog in him this whole time.
Yeah. But like, they don't give a shit about the competitive element. So like, the chopping block is probably like the largest race that is gonna have that like cut above of competitiveness. But still, the main focus there is just showcasing the people that made it that far. So you don't get a ton of time to actually like process, like, here's what this person is thinking, here's the amalgamation of information they have. It's more so we know for like the eagle's eye of everything that's going on. Where does this racer fit into our complete information? But the top 32 and onwards, where you have these 1v1s, it's a very different story, because even though I don't like remember all of these seeds perfectly, they're very close races, and you get to see how two people are processing the same information, sometimes very similarly, but more often than not in a way that actually like different playstyles got to emerge and like make a deep run. You got to see how people would react to getting a hint, the same hint, differently, right? Like, one person will get a hint for a proof and decide that I immediately need to go push it. The other says, I can probably find some more tools before I have to push it to make it faster. Yeah. So the top 32 in general was super exciting to witness. And your match in particular against Sweeping Rocks was one that was very close, both of you being in final fights at the same
I
time.
remember that. Yeah.
There's nothing more electric than when two players that
mhm.
feel equally matched are both in final fights, running against the clock, and it really just comes down to execution, which is really funny because we invite everyone on this like pillar that this is lighthearted competition. It doesn't mean that much, but try telling that to the two people that are now in final fights, frantically trying to mash that square button or L1 square for that reflect. To save that extra second on Armor 2, or trying to get that dome skip so that they don't have to watch the cutscene, right? It got to the point where, like, truly the fresh faces were demonstrating this, like, insane competitiveness, where they were able to pick up the tricks of the trade and actually, like, trim down the fat on their times.
Yeah, and I've had, like, a very... Because I participated in Fresh Faces 2 last year as well, but I didn't make it past the qualifiers. So like I knew the like kind of race time vibe for qualifiers that have a lot of people in it. But then getting into top 32 this year, 1v1s is in a race time is so scary because I have no idea how the other person is doing. At least like with the qualifiers when there's 30 people, I can say like, okay, I just have to get top 25%. That's like a number of spaces. I don't have to worry too much. But when it's just one other person and you have no idea and they could click finish at any time, that had me stressing.
When the first person hits finish in a qualifier, you're not dead in the water, right? Like that actually, if anything, it actually conveys some important information to you about like where the proof can't be, right? Because if someone finishes in X amount of time, they didn't have the time to go push GR2 or MCP or X, Y, and Z, right? Whereas in a 1v1, that someone hits done, it's over. Like there is no more information for you to glean. Like the run is end. The run is coming to an end.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I think I like almost got like or all green number or whatever the top 32 match, if I'm remembering correctly. It was
all green numbers, by the way, for anyone unfamiliar, basically just means complete information with the hints. Like you knew where everything was.
You either have all of the items or know where those items are and didn't need to get them, basically.
Right, gotcha.
But that was because I remember because I finished and I was excited because I finished first and I of course there's the load list coming into account that could come into account depending on PC specs and everything. So I finished and I immediately like, okay, I can pull up Roro's stream because you were restreaming it and I can see where the heck Sweeping Rocks is because I'm like, where is he? How close was this? I need to know right now. So I pull it up and he's fighting Final Zemnis and I'm like, oh my God, that was close.
Well, the thing is that like even if you do pull up your opponent's perspective, they might have a lower load list than you. So you're not like home free just because you hit that done button.
Exactly.
We do go by the load list timer.
The low list part is the scariest because like it all depends on how you. That was the probably the scariest part of everything. Was like thinking that you were faster than somebody else, and then their load list timer was just 2 minutes or maybe even 30 seconds faster than yours, and you're just like,
Yep. Lesson learned: invest in a potato PC, and your load list timer will be more generous in your favor.
Yep. But
KH2 Rando might be the only time you get to enjoy that benefit.
Like just to say, like even from like being stressed of like not knowing what's going on with the other racer, it's a really fun stress, which is weird to say, but it's like I was having the time of my life doing that seed and still just not knowing what the heck is going on, and it was like an hour and a half total in real time, I think. But an hour and a half well spent, even if I would have lost that seed. It was so fun.
It's what I think is the beauty of KH2 Rando. It's just so much like we can turn it into competitive, but I'm glad that Fresh Faces still maintain that. Like even if you lost, it's a fun puzzle to solve in the in the meantime.
And just even like the entire bracket. I think top 32 was crazy enough because that's 16 matches, 32 people, and they were every single race was really close, I think.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
then-
you take the top 20, like 32 people is 20% of the player pool. So
Mhm.
like, if you take the top 20% of anything, right? And I'm not saying that those were definitively the top 20% skill-wise, right? But like,
Right.
they were at least competent enough to get to that stage, right? I'm not saying that the other were not, but I'm just saying like you're pulling from a pool that has probably played more than 3 seeds apiece, right?
Mhm.
I think that the people that had played fewer than 3 practice seeds didn't make it as far as the top 32. So like when you're looking at that stage, like you're looking at people who have a lot of knowledge, they've had a lot of experience, and it really did come down at times just to very, very minor execution with like tools that you might not have been perfectly familiar with, or just the order in which you did content. Very close races.
Even in some cases, it was almost entirely or like pretty closely decided by just kind of a random gamble. I remember, I don't remember exactly what, there was several, but I think there was one where somebody just kind of did full send on STT, which simulated Twilight Town, which is the tutorial where you play as Roxas, for those who are unfamiliar. And that got them a proof when it was unhinted, and that's a long visit, but it worked out.
Yeah. Gambling happened.
Yeah.
There were gambles to be made in these settings.
And I think it just makes it even cooler, because even like I got knocked out at top 16, 9th place, by the way. Let's go.
Oh, here we go.
But like, it's just fun to watch. Like, even if I hadn't participated at all, I would have watched everything I could, because it's just fun, and the community's funny. Like, I contributed a lot of memes last year and this year to
absolutely.
Fresh Faces, and we just know how to have fun, and it's just a good time.
It's fun and it's supportive, right? I think
Yeah.
that one thing that I've tried to and I've not always done it perfectly, but one thing I've always tried to do is I want the loser of any 1v1 to feel like the time wasn't wasted, and that they enjoyed themselves and could enjoy watching back their perspective, even though they know that they lost that seed, right? I really pride the Fresh Faces 3 team on trying to make that a supportive and fun experience for both the winner and the loser of any 1v1.
Yeah, and it was very much, and I think like all the community as a whole was like I know, there are rules in place for brain fart, sorry, like the rules in place to make sure like nobody's like making negative jokes or anything, but I think like everyone that participated wouldn't have even taken it bad, because I think everyone knows, like, we all know how this works. We're all watching, we know how Rando is, and at the end of the day, we're just having a good time, and we know that you're good at what you do, and you don't need to feel bad, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, easier said than done, though, because keep in mind, for a lot of
Yeah.
people, this was their first exposure to KH2 Rando, right? So I thought it was very important that these people know that no one is trying to critique their gameplay or really hyper-analyze it, right? Because the idea is that you're just celebrating that someone took the effort to update or install the KH2 Rando and put themselves out there in a competition, regardless of how far they made it. And I think that I'm trying to even, like, come up with an example that, like, I thought maybe someone, like, was somewhat discouraging, but I'm not really, like, nothing comes to mind. I think on the average, people were very, very supportive of one another and just excited to see people hit the main stage during the 1v1s.
Yeah, and I don't think, even if there was, I don't think anyone would have like intended to be discouraging if it came off that way. Like, I think like we all know how to like make jokes about things and be fun, but
yeah.
The first thing I did was, after I saw that Dallin qualified with me, I went on stream that night and I watched this whole run, and I was like, and mind you, me and Dallin have been friends for years, but like either way, like I'm very blunt, and I'm like, why did he do that? Why didn't he do this? Why did he do that? And he's messaged me. He's like, because that's how I do it. I went, okay, good. Like, there was
we need to hire DJ for commentary next year. This is exactly the type of insight we need in the booth here.
But that's exactly what I did, because I'm like, the door's right there. Why didn't you just go to that door? It would have been like 2 seconds faster. And then he's like, well, if you do it this way, you actually go this route. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try that next time. And I did. I was like, oh shit, this is actually faster. Oh, like, and it's just bouncing off each other back and forth. And I think that's what we all did with each other. It was just, how can we make our runs better? Which, like, any tips and tricks that we can help each other with. And then at the end of the day, it's like, well, did you have fun?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day,
cool
like,
to see. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't. My bad.
Oh, no, and I said, like, at the end of the day, I think even though some of us crashed out, totally not me. Even though some of us crashed out or we were discouraged at the end of our placement times, we're all. I think I can speak for most of the people in the Fresh Faces Discord channel. Was, hey, when's the next one? I can do better.
Yeah.
I would not hold your breath for it next time.
Yeah, I definitely need some kind of redemption from that crap that happened to me.
Well,
because I mean, I know everyone was saying like you don't have to feel bad, but in my particular case, I still feel bad, even though I knew going into it, it didn't really matter to me much where I placed, if I were to place at all. But just the fact that I wasn't even able to make it past the qualifying stage was the thing that kind of made me more sad. It was just I
feel like you always want to play at your best, right? Like if you don't beat the qualifiers, you want it to be because you tried your best and still something didn't like you get to learn something from it. But if it's just a crash, it just doesn't feel like for lack of better words, it doesn't feel like your best attempt, right? It's not like in your control. I'm not trying to place blame. It's just like it doesn't feel like I tried my best and I'm proud of it, but I didn't make it.
Yeah.
The only one to blame is myself. Sure, because of the technical issues that I was warned about before that I didn't take into consideration because I put faith in, okay, well, one mod works, so surely this other one thing works as well. But apparently,
it's just an unfortunate situation. But what I was going to bring up is
before you do, I just want to quickly say that the TOs love what Jedi said. By the way, I'm going to speak on the entire First Phase. Like the fact that Jedi said this is my fault and I should have done this. From a TO perspective, we love phrases like that. We love that because we did have people during Fresh Faces like not come at us, but like not be as like self-aware that like any technical difficulties that you might encounter need to be dealt with in advance. But now that like we're out of TO mode now, I would not place the blame entirely on you, right? Because like it's a published mod, right? It's out there, it's installable to anybody. Like it could have happened to truly anybody. But yeah, you're gonna score some TO credits for the way that you communicated that. They're gonna appreciate it.
Like funky health bars, you know? Like it's just. I'm sorry. I was waiting for a perfect time to say it because there was about 9 of us in my chat. Like, what the fuck is this? Why does this health bar look really shady?
Sorry, John. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure that I got that out before we moved on.
W Jedi.
Yeah, so I mean, like what I was gonna say is like even if there is not another Fresh Faces going forward, which I certainly hope there is, but I'm entirely biased. But there is other beginner-friendly tournaments, which they did earlier this year. I think it was Beginner Boot Camp.
Yes.
And then I can't confirm anything, but I have heard rumors that it will potentially be coming back.
Uki wants to run it. I will not. I think that's something Uki has publicly stated.
Yeah,
so
like
I don't feel like I'm outing him. When we are not the one does that is
announce it, but it exists, and I'm sure there are other ideas. So there is potential to try again in a different tournament. And I also helped out a little bit. I made a mod for and did commentary for Beginner Boot Camp when I could. And I can say that was also a very, very cool, fun tournament that I would highly recommend if they do it again.
Charity
Well,
Tourney
there-
8, which is a tourney series that Comey does, is also
is
coming
true.
back. That one's a bit more crit, but it's also a great way to get the community together. There will be so much more KH2 Rando content that I think comes out. The TOs also have some events that they want to run of their own. I think that it's after Fresh Faces 3, I'm very much ready to be a player and a supporter than I am a runner, or rather a organizer. There we go. That's the host.
Well, there is something. I was kind of waiting for this to kind of wrap up here, because you did say not hold your breath, etc. And since you do want to become a player, the Forge has been kind of brainstorming a little bit something here and there. Every November for National Video Games Month, I personally do a 24-hour charity stream for Phoenix Children's Hospital for cancer research. I've been doing that for almost a decade now. This will be my 9th year doing it. And we usually do a Keyblade art Thank you. We usually do a Keyblade art contest, but we did that in July, so we're trying to figure out what to do for November. One of actually our newer members here in the Forge came up with a possible rando tourney for co-op. I don't remember the name, but I think we're going to go with Forged in the Fire, mainly because this is the Keyblade Forge. And if you're interested in that, then maybe that's something we could discuss later. But for the listeners all over social media, if you want to message us and kind of give us some ideas, comment down below, or as well comment on the Forge.
I see. This was your master plan. You bring me in here, and now I'm a dick if I say no. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You wanted to be a player, so if you want to come up with a co-op partner yourself, no. But it's just because the three of us had so much fun doing it. Yes, some of us did better than others. Some of us did worse than others. But at the end of the day, we all practiced. We all had fun. And that's just something that we've been wanting to kind of implement for a while, mainly because me and Dallin are KH2 Rando veterans in the sense of, since, way back at the beginning of it, Dallin has worked on KH3 Rando stuff, and as well as 2. And Jedi and I have been playing on and off for the past 2 years now. If we can implement it with the Forge and a lot of our PC players to kind of get in there, it'll be something that, within the breaks of the actual rando TO stuff in the KH2 and Open KH2 Discord, this can be something else that we can start up. Because at the end of the day, we're expanding more than just content creation and artwork and stuff. We want to implement now in more of the gaming side to kind of push people into these other servers, into other directions. So more of would you want to call it a new path, like a funnel? To be like, hey, if you want to learn more about it, check out the Open KH server, check out the KH2 Rando server, etc., etc.
Yeah, sounds like a great idea. Color me interested.
Yeah.
What color would be?
I didn't think that far ahead.
Damn it. Okay. Roro's color down below.
Yeah. Blue and
I
yellow.
have to go blue and yellow, right? Blue and yellow is my default response.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, well, I'll take a different shade of blue then.
But yeah, I guess, we've kind of covered pretty much everything. Just to kind of finish up on Fresh Faces, congrats to the winner, it's Quarkium, who won this year, which that final race was really good. That was a fun race. It wasn't a jet seed, thank goodness, because that would have been it would have been exciting, but a little anticlimactic because of how short it would have been. But
well, I don't think they could have had a jet seed because they turned off the promise charm for it. We optionally allowed the runners to make the seed a bit harder, and they both had kind of played a lot of KH2 Rando in the run up to the grand finals. Which, by the way, can we talk about the fact that Quarkium in back-to-back races did dome skip blindfolded?
That's right. That was insane.
he went into finals.
Stop.
Yeah, he literally for final Zemnis put the blindfold on and just did the entire fight blindfolded and dome skipped twice. So
the only reason we even found out about it, by the way, is because he cosplayed as Final Zemnis, and I just wanted to bring people's attention to the cosplay before Fresh Faces 3 ended. But the blindfold stole the show. I was like, what are you doing? Why has he been doing this the whole seed?
Roro, at this point, when does the word beginner mean anything anymore, sir? When they're doing it
to be fair,
blindfolded.
Org does come from a speedrunning background. He did like
Same.
get into
Yeah.
KH2 speedrunning, but no, but like truly, like he grinded seeds. Like I think he told me that in the run up to grand finals, after his semifinals match, how many seeds do you think he played between his semifinals match against? I want to say it was Scotty. Yeah, it was Scotty. So since his semifinals match against Scotty and grand finals, how many seeds do you think he played?
To do it blindfolded or just in general?
Just in general, which he also mentioned that he was blindfolded during.
I want to say maybe like 20 to 30.
Yeah, it was 20. It was like in the span of like somewhere between like 5 to 7 days. He was grinding out 3 seeds a day.
Jesus Christ.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Props.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure
At this point, we're all
playing...
mad now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
and,
he put in the work.
and also shout outs to the runner-up, brain farting on the Unverse Docs.
Unverse Docs.
Yeah.
And
everybody who ran, but yeah.
He played probably somewhere between 5 and 10. He was playing a lot of the battleship settings, which forced him to do a lot of deeper content to ensure, and on crit, so that he was prepped for the wave that was Quarkium.
That's dope though. I did want to ask one last question before we wrap everything up, because it kind of blew my mind to see the amount of Kingdom Hearts content creators, lore crafters, and all that they're able to like secure. Because I know a lot of them, they work 9 to 5s, they have families, etc. And I say this, and once again, like I said, I'm blind, so just fair warning, editor, you know what to do. How like bad that they were, but like in a funny sense, because it's like you guys practice this game so much to figure out like different like shortcuts, hidden things like that, and then it's like. Okay, let me rephrase because it makes me sound like an asshole. Hold on. Rewind all this. I have it written out too. Because I was watching some of the content creators and I'm like, how are you not dodge rolling that? How are you not guarding that? And I'm thinking of it now as a speedrunner. We're so like it's so embedded into our brains of just like second nature.
It like showcases all the different sides of the community.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah. There we go. Better. Dallin is my interpreter for this because I'm just sounding like a complete asshole. I'm so sorry.
No, but I hear what you're saying. Like how, because like Rando is a very specific way to play the game. Even though it has a lot of variation. Yeah, there's a lot of people who aren't really familiar with it, and that kind of it makes it a little more interesting, even though it may not be doing as well as some of the other people. Like it's just what, like we said, or like being able to see everyone's different perspective in the qualifiers. Yeah, it's just a fun thing to see. Yeah,
because I was watching some of them like I forgot. Once again, I'm not good with names, but some of the people that you were able to acquire played and beat the games on like non-normal controllers. Or like really weird settings, right?
Oh no, I know who you're talking about. Lance the Master played with the Riff Master.
He was not. Lance was going into it with no intention of like if he qualified, great, but that was not his motive. His motive was but show who I am as a creator. I am the Riff Master. Here, watch me fucking swing this guitar around my neck and get dome stick anyways. Like that was his demo.
Oh, shit. But then there was other ones that I'm like. You didn't like aerial recovery that? You have aerial recovery equipped? And then they show I'm like, how do you have aerial like certain things like that like blew my mind. And I was like, wait, hold on. You're a speedrunner. This is completely different. This is your cup of tea. And my buddy Garnet, because we play Rando like every Sunday, like almost every other Sunday. And he's like, DJ, relax. I'm like, No, you're right. Like I'm the dickhead in this one. My bad.
It's not even being a dickhead. It's just that, like, from a speedrunner's perspective, there's a lot of things that come as like just secondhand nature to you, right? Like there's a lot of skills that transfer from speedrunning to KH2 Rando. It was actually like some behind the scenes that we were worried that given that the speedrunning community at large, and not just like the top players in the speedrunning community caught wind of Fresh Faces 3 and wanted to play in it, we had to, basically prepare for the onslaught of comments that were like, these are not beginners, right? Like, these are not people who are unfamiliar with KH2, but we kind of took the stance they are unfamiliar with KH2 Rando. There is a bias that all of these speedrunners really have when it comes to speedrunning versus KH2 Rando. I use this as an example, not to diminish his credentials, because his credentials are phenomenal if you go to his speedrunning profile, but one name that I'm thinking of is Paji, right? Paji is someone who, at the time of when we were discussing it, had the world record for beginner any percent for KH2. So you see him joining Fresh Faces 3 and say, in what universe is this a beginner, right? And I say this with all the love in the world to Paji. His credential list is insane. If you watch his first stream Fresh Faces 3 run, he's talking about STT and how you can't ignore it because it has so many checks. Which anyone who has run KH2 Rando knows this is a ridiculous statement, right? But it went to show that there are these interesting biases that people carry forward from the KH2 Rando that probably some of these non-speedrunners aren't as biased with. It was really fun to see that there was a good mix between the speedrunners and non-speedrunners that made deep runs. To actually funnel down on the vague bucket called the content creators. We had Dallin, who made top 32. We had Cheney, who qualified. There were a couple of other content creators that were very, very close. Topaz was incredible. Topaz qualified but didn't make it to top 32. I'm blanking on a couple of others. I'm sure there were others that I just can't remember off the top of my head. But
there was a lot. Yeah,
it was a great variety. I think the settings were accomplished exactly what we set out to do, because while yes, you had people like Quark and Book and Paji who were from the speedrun. I'm sure there were more speedrun. I think Anime was also a speedrunner. There were a decent number of speedrunners in the top 32. It was far from the dominant demographic.
And so it's especially with speedrunning being so different, because speedrunning, you're just playing through the game normally. You get things where you're supposed to get them. Rando, you can have max reflect in 5 minutes or final form in 10 minutes, and you can use those in places you would never be able to use them in the vanilla game or in speedrunning. So there's different skills. They're kind of similar in feeling, but they're different tricks and skills and strategies. So it's very much a different transfer. Yeah, it's a different vibe. But yeah, that's what makes Rando so cool. I mean,
Sorry, I know we were talking about wrapping up, but there was just one aspect that I wanted to talk on the podcast that I just don't think I got to talk about. It was so cool to see the reception KH2 Rando got at Reconnect this year. I think that Reconnect was ever anti-Rando, but it was just it never in my wildest dreams did I think the KH proper community, because KH2 Rando is the nichiest of niches, right? It's to see that it kind of got a full house when we did the KH2 Rando event, and that so many content creators that we met there were so willing to give the settings a shot. The fact that we literally had 2 segments of multiple content creators, those that were returning and those that were debuting, and they were large sequences, was truly astonishing to me. It was so cool that we finally got to really narrow the gap between what the KH2 Rando community is and what the KH proper community is, for lack of better words. It was so fun to see all those people. Actually seeing KH guides after 3 outreaches finally actually pick up that controller, make an overlay that was so beautiful towards Fresh Faces 3, and get that close to qualifying. By the way, he was only 3 or 4 spots from qualifying in his qualifiers both times. It was just incredible to witness. Among all the other content creators, I just used KH guides as an example.
It's been super fun, just the whole tournament as a whole, and Reconnect being able to see Rando there, because like DJ said, I have been playing Rando for a really long time, not super like definitely not competitively. Before last Fresh Faces, I don't think I had ever done a seed that was like less than 2 hours because I would play like the whole fucking game. But it's just really cool to see so many more people getting into it, because it is I genuinely mean it when I say it's like my favorite mod I've ever played for any game. And that's including my own mods, which I am crazily biased for.
They're all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only got nominated for an award, like
yeah.
Yeah, he's got it.
No, yeah, but it's just such a cool community, and for anyone listening, if you've never tried KH2 Rando, I would highly recommend it. It's super fun. Even if you don't want to play it like competitively, you can play it and spend like 2 hours on it, and it's still fun. Like, it's just a really cool way to play the game.
I have tons of people that continue to watch my streams after FF3, which is why. Why would you? I don't know why. I have no answers, but for those that do, a lot of them love engaging with the community just because they like even if they're just casual players. There's so much that you can discuss with someone who is competitive. I think it's one of the rare instances where competitive players and casual players alike have like so much to discuss in common. It's I can't recommend the community enough. It's some of the coolest people you'll ever meet. Definitely an insane amount of talent in that community too, at the top levels. Maybe one day I'll get there. It doesn't look super likely, but the general KH2 Rando community, it's just lovely people. You're never going to go wrong by engaging with them.
Absolutely.
And I think that right there we can definitely wrap it up. But before we do, I want to do one last thing. Roro was super awesome, and during his streams towards the end, for people who donated, there was always a wheel that was spun. Am I correct?
Not always, but yes, we did give away a lot of the gifts that the sponsors gave to our viewers for donating.
And I kind of want to do that too for the end of this episode. And I want to give one lucky listener a chance who has not been able to participate in any Kingdom Hearts-based things on the PC. I will be giving away one key for Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 on Steam, so that y'all can join and be part of the Rando community with us. So that's my gift to you guys from the Forge.
Awesome.
Fuck it, can I match it?
Alright, let's do it!
Hell yeah.
All right,
let's do that.
So we'll pick two winners. DJ will do one, I'll do the other.
Let's go. All right. We'll work out the details for that and have that in the description.
Yep.
Sorry, Dallin, if we just threw this on you, apparently.
No, you're good. No, I love it. That's great.
Dallin's used to me sporadically giving stuff away on when we do community-based things. So,
okay.
But, like I said, we're veterans on this. I'm actually one of the main people who harassed Valaxor. Shout out to Valaxor for doing the Kingdom Hearts Rando website for the first one. Getting stuff done, and I was heavily throwing money at him. And I loved this. I loved how big this community has grown, and I want to keep it happening. So let's do it, y'all. So Ryu, our beautiful editor, let's figure this out, and let's put everything in the description.
All right. So yeah, that's it for this episode, I think. It's been really fun. Thank you, Roro, for joining us, and thank you, DJ and Jedi, for joining in on this episode as well. But yeah. We'll see y'all next time. May your heart be your guiding key.
Later.
Disclaimer, heart may lie to you. We're proofs and promise charmer.
Dun, da, da, da. Hi there. It's your trusty Chirithy, here to remind you to like, comment, and share this podcast with all your friends. Please remember to subscribe to the Keyblade Forge, join the Discord server, and visit the merch store at www.keybladeforge.com. Don't forget, your friends are your power, so make sure to pass this along. Until next time, may your heart be your guiding key.